You're welcome back to the conversation. In the first half of the show, we did talk about the political situation in Malawi, where the vice president has been accused of taking bribes from a Malawian British businessman, and he's had his power stripped from him. Now it's time to switch gears, and our focus is on Tanzania. Tanzania's ruling party has insisted on reforming the East African country's constitution after fending off years of sustained pressure by opposition parties and right groups to do just that. Shaka Hamdu Shaka, the party's ideology and publicity secretary, told reporters that the party is supporting President Samia Hassan's reconciliation efforts. Last July, the head of the leading opposition party, CHADEMA, and 10 others were detained while planning a meeting to discuss proposals for a new constitution.
CHADEMA said the arrest of its supporters was proof that President Samia Suluhu Hassan was following in the authoritarian footsteps of her predecessor, John Magufuli, who died in March last year. The government has denied the allegations. The current constitution of Tanzania was adopted in 1977 by senior members of the ruling party when the country was a one-party state. A previous attempt to make changes to the constitution failed in 2014. At the time, a draft constitution left out changes such as trimming the president's powers, establishment of an independent electoral commission, and allowing legal challenges to presidential election results. Now, joining us live for this conversation, we have Victor Kweka, is a spokesperson, Justice, Constitutional and Legal Affairs Act, Wazalendo. Thank you so much, Victor, for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Now, Victor, a month earlier, Shaka Hamdu Shaka, the CCM's ideology and publicity secretary, had said, and I quote, "We need healthcare facilities, water and sanitation. Those noisemakers, referring to the opposition, have no agenda." Do you have any inclination into what is behind the ruling party's sudden change to a constitutional reform? Do we call it pressure or a change of priority?
It's not a pleasure, and we, as a opposition party, we had a conversation with our president, and also we were the champion on the task force, which was made by the president to have a national dialogue on what ways or in which ways should we take to have the new constitution. So we as ACT Wazalendo, we say that we need a constitution change from now. And this the second change, which Tanzanians do really need a constitution change from now. And so we see this as a good opportunity, whether it came late or it's soon. As we, as a political party, we see it as a good starting point for the President Samia Suluhu Hassan, so that we can have a national dialogue, we can have a national consensus on what ways should we use to make this new constitution needs.
Thank you, Victor. My question is, what were some of the inadequacies and lapses of the 1977 constitution? What were some of the defects, and is there really an urgent need for a constitution?
Yeah, there are some many challenges. There are some challenges, but not some. But there are so many challenges. The first challenge is the power given to the president is so huge. Also, the second challenge is we don't have a clear chart or a clear the gear from the constitution that's enable or that promote for the free and fair election. But also civil rights or human rights are not clearly stated in our current constitution. So there are some challenges which affect we as citizens, but those which I mentioned, there are huge and fundamental challenges
Okay, Victor, now while you're talking about the challenges of the 1977 Constitution, now having come out of a near one-party situation under the former president, that is John Magufuli, how would you rate the political landscape under President Samia Suluhu Hassan? Do you see more freedom of political parties in Tanzania, of which you are also part of an opposition party?
Yeah, it's clear that the late Magufuli banned political activities from his way of leading the country. The current president Samia Suluhu Hassan did not want to follow the ways from the late President Magufuli. So we see that President Samia Suluhu Hassan has her own ways of promoting freedom from political parties, and we saw his ways, we saw her motive, and we are very proud of what she does to promote a political freedom. Though there are some challenges which we are now trying to help her to overcome them, so that we can have a way forward on what ways should we as a country move, so that political parties, citizens will be free and will have a freedom on their rights. We'll have this freedom to use their political parties to make a good politics, to make development concerning people. So yeah, that is what I can say and what I can compare from the late Magufuli and Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Now, Victor, now that the government has come out to say, it's open to constitutional changes and the opposition parties have welcomed this, what sort of constitution will be good for the people of Tanzania, will be more inclusive and carry out the yearnings and aspirations of the people of Tanzania? How will you, as an opposition party, ensure that this is not just a watered-down version of the 1977 Constitution? What process is the government proposing for reviewing and establishing a new Constitution?
Okay. First of all, there are no mechanisms set by the government as of now on what ways should we use to make a constitutional change. But the President Samia Suluhu Hassan did use that task force, which she made it, and she instructed the task force to look on the ways, on what ways should we use to make these constitutional reforms. But we, as a political party and opposition political party, we always and it is our pleasure that we will need to have the constitution which give full mandates from the citizens. We need the constitution that clearly show that the president, if the current president Samia Suluhu Hassan misuses her obligation, we can have the forum to sue her. We can have the forum to sue any president, any president who will be elected as the president of the United Republic of Tanzania. But also, we need a constitution that clearly shows that we will have a free and fair election. We will have the free and independent bodies that are not which are not dependent from the government agencies.
All right, talking about the election processes now the 1977 Constitution stipulates that the head of the Electoral Commission must be appointed by the president. Did this have any effect on the electoral process in Tanzania?
Yeah, it has an effect because president is a candidate, and if he's a candidate, he or she he's not or she's not having a right to appoint someone who will be a custodian of his vote or our votes. So we need a separate body that will need to appoint those electoral commission members apart from the president. But also, we were setting the standards on what ways should the government take or should we take to make that we have a good constitution. First of all, we need a review on the laws that are accompanied by the Constitution. We have the Police Force Act, which is absolutely not good at all. We have a Political Parties Act, which is it is bad. We have other laws that are a Constitutional Referendum Act, which we need it to be amended so that we can use a draft or second draft, which will be passed by the Parliament, so that the people should make a vote on whether they need that a constitution or they are not needed. Also, we need a national dialogue to provide a national consensus on what ways we as a citizen of Tanzania want to have a good constitutional reform.
Now, finally, before I let you go, Victor, is there a timetable to this consultation process and to when the president is going to come out with modalities and the framework for this new constitution? When do you expect a new constitution to be birthed?
Okay, there are no time set by the president. However, we are trying to push as a political party. We are trying to push that we need a constitutional making process to start now, so that maybe in the end of 2025, we should have a clear and a good constitution apart from what we have now. Alongside with that, we need ongoing amendments on the mentioned laws, so that when we are passing on this stage of making our constitutions, we will have the laws that will lead us to that finality.
Okay, quickly, Victor, before I let you go, Samia Suluhu Hassan said her priority over time has been economy. How has she fared in improving the economy of Tanzania?
Sorry, come again?
I said over time, Samia Suluhu Hassan said her priority is on building the economy of Tanzania and not on the constitution. How has she fared in improving the economy of Tanzania?
Yeah. If you do not have a strong laws, if you do not have a strong foundation, which is our constitutions. So she might have a good vision, she might have a good standing, she might have a good everything she needs. But what we need first is to create a strong laws, a strong foundation for her thinking, for her vision to be successful. If you do not have a good constitution, if you do not have a good laws, if you do not have a good regulations, you will not build a vision. You will get a misuse of public funds. People will not having a mandate to punish you as our leader or as their leader. So we need clear constitution, clear laws, clear regulations that will enable us to reach on her vision.
All right, thank you so much, Victor Kweka, spokesperson, Justice, Constitutional and Legal Affairs at Wazalendo, for joining us on this conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine.
All right, this is where we'll wrap this up on the conversation for today. We had discussions in Malawi, where the vice president has been charged on corruption allegations with British Malawian businessman Sata. And of course, the former police chief in Malawi has also been indicted in this. And right now, we just finished discussions in Tanzania, where the ruling party has decided to agree for constitutional reform, of which the Tanzania constitution has been on since 1977. And the opposition is saying that this constitution is outdated and a new one needs to be given to the people of Tanzania. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation. I am Rita Omodia.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Rita will hold court until I come back.
Do not go. All right, we'll be seeing you back strong and better in 2 weeks' time.